Thank you. We're going to start with just opening statements. I'm going to give you a minute and a half to tell us who you represent, who you are, and if you are in office, what you've done environmentally since you've served. If you're seeking that office and haven't served, what you intend to do environmentally for us. So we'll start with that, and we'll begin with Ray.
Well, hello everyone. My name is Ray Skip Sandman, and number one, it's an honor to be here tonight. Unfortunately, my opponents choose not to be here. With that being said, I don't think I need to say anything more about my opponents. Environment is a very powerful thing. In my campaign, it's a cornerstone of the whole campaign. If we don't have water, we don't have life. When I'm elected, I'll do everything in my power as an elected official to make sure this mining that they're proposing in northern Minnesota does not come to be. Now, other people will say it is safe. I say that's BS. If we don't have the water, our species begins to die. Because it's not only will it leak into the groundwater and into the streams and rivers, which will destroy the national parks up north, but also everything in the food chain. It's the fish, it's the birds that eat the fish, it's the animals that eat the birds.
Okay, we're going to jump right into it with one of the questions that's on everybody's mind. Enbridge, Sandpiper Pipeline. Explain your feelings on Enbridge, where should it go, trains versus pipelines, jobs versus environment.
Number one, let me be right up there and be honest with you, no. It's not good business for Minnesota. Now, Enbridge has, in the last 15 years, 800 oil spills. 800. Do we want that running through Minnesota with a track record of that? I don't think so. We want to put the pipelines where the water's at, and that to me, that is not acceptable. The jobs do not, that they offer to give are temporary jobs. But when they make a spill, who's left with the cleanup? We are. We are. So therefore, it's not worth it. It's not putting our risk of our children, our water, our wetlands for what they get. We don't get anything out of it. All that will be sold on the open market. It's called bitumen. It's not crude oil. They say it's bitumen as it comes through so that they get away from paying more taxes in the farm.
Thank you. Joe.
Nowhere in the world has it been safe. Nowhere. Why would we want to do that to our water? Why would we want to do that for our sake of our grandchildren? Every containment field they've ever tried anywhere in the world has failed, and it will fail here.
Thank
so
you.
No.
Ray.
Well, I totally support it. In fact, I talk about a little company out of Germany that makes a product called Archimedes. On a 3-bedroom house, if the research is correct, what I was reading, it will provide 80% of a 3-bedroom house electricity. The other 20% can be done with solar. Now these are plants that could be built here in Minnesota using their same design so that we can have our union people working in those plants, providing jobs that are going to be long-term. Rather, the unique thing about it is these jobs cannot be outsourced. Cannot be outsourced. So yes, we need to start making moves now towards the future. This is the future that will be environmentally friendly with long-term, good-paying jobs. All right? And we need to not be stymied by the people that we put in power that give that subsidies to the corporations that do not fund this type of research or encourage this type of industry.
Problems out there. Invasive species. purple loosestrife. Somebody put down cattails. I didn't know they were invasive, but they are on my property too. And the zebra mussel, which we haven't quite got a handle on either. Give you each a couple minutes to talk about what you know about the situations, what have been done about those situations, what can we do about those situations at the legislative level. We'll start with you, Ray.
One of the things with the invasive species, and there's many of them out there, is I don't feel is that our DNR is adequately funded to actually hit the whole problem at a steady rate that we're doing nowadays. So I think it has to do with funding, and I think it has to do with how much pressure we as citizens make them accountable for, and start doing more of the checks that they have done in the past of actually looking at the boats, what's being in the boats, what's attached to the bottom of the boats, and holding those people accountable. That's what I believe should be done, and it's going to take time. It is going to take time. It took time for it to happen. It's going to take time for us to get rid of those invasive species. Thank you.
Okay, Kevin expressed, what are your priorities with land, water, and wildlife in our area, especially the counties that we live in? Let's go around.
Number one is the resources. Everything counts and matters. Research is great, but we also got to be proactive. We need to have a voice that says when they want to do something, is to say no. We don't need to be dictated to what we know is right. We as a people need to do the right thing. Everything is important to us. Everything in the environment, no matter what it is. Research is great, but we also need to do our part and say no when they try to sell us a bill of goods. Yeah, these are
quickly, I keep coming back again to the pipeline issue. I'm getting all kinds of, and it's going to do just a quick yes/no type of thing. Pipeline versus rail. One or the other, 2 words. Pipeline or rail.
I'd rather go with the rail.
Yeah, it again is about agriculture, heavy agriculture use in southern Minnesota, and the loss of CRTs or CRDs. You know what those are? What is that?
Traffic action program.
Okay, and then there's also an onslaught of neonicotinoids in our dangerous pesticides being used in food systems. 1 minute to respond however you like to that.
Okay, with the CRB, I'm not fully aware of all the whole things on that, but one of the things I do know is that the farmers are having a very hard time growing crops. But here's a thought. What would happen if we could take those farmers that are not making it and make it available so that they can grow hemp? Now, hemp sells for $9.98 a pound. There's over 1,000 products that can be made with hemp, which will help the local economies. Now, when you look at that, there's a difference between hemp and marijuana. Scientifically, there is a difference. Now, you want to shock the economy, you want to shock for our farmers, let's start putting something in there that makes it worth their while and their labor to bring them out of debt. Pesticides, they need to stop. When the bees can't pollinate, someone said, a much wiser man than me, when the bees go, we go.
Thank you. Okay. Thank you for all the questions. We're not going to get to them all. We could get to another hour with this whole panel, but I'm going to give them each only a minute instead of 2 to do their finishing closing statements and keep it environmental. And I'm going to give you a couple thoughts, food for thought as you go through this. What do you do to learn more about the environment so that you're an expert on our behalf? And how will you engage this community of people who are interested in the environment as if you're elected to office? Ray? 1 minute.
One of the things is I would do is I would keep an open door policy to anybody who wants to talk about the environment. And because the environment to me is everything. If we don't have an environment that we can have health and enjoy and something to pass on to our children's children's children, we have nothing. Therefore, that has got to be first and foremost in our mind with any decision that is made either on the federal level or the state level, how to protect us, how to protect our land, our water. Without those, we are extinct. Simple as that. So that has got to be there right in front of us every day. And if I'm elected, I will have an open door policy and I will listen to each and every one of you.
Thank you.